What if the reason you struggle to express your emotions isn't because something is wrong with you, but because you were never taught how to? Think about that for a second. How many times have you felt something deeply, but you know, you couldn't find words for it? Or someone asked you, "What's wrong with you?" Or "What's wrong? What is happening?" And your only answer was, "I don't know." Or maybe you actually knew exactly what you were feeling, but saying it out loud just felt very uncomfortable or even unsafe. You must have been there before. I just know it. Hi, my name is Caleb, and this is the Triage Table podcast, where we sit down and talk about mental health, emotional struggles, and real things we go through but don't always say out loud. And for your information, I am a real nurse working in the emergency unit and see sick emergency patients every single day. But in this podcast, we are actually going to shift some gears to emergencies of mental health and emotional life. Let's begin, shall we? All right, what we just talked about isn't random. A lot of us didn't grow up in environments where emotions were understood or welcomed or even allowed. Instead, we were actually taught directly or indirectly to suppress, uh, ignore, or minimize what we felt. Some of us were told things like, stop crying. It is not that serious. Or others were never asked how they felt at all. So over time, we adapted. We learned to stay quiet. We learned to keep things inside. We learned to deal with things on our own, and that might have helped us survive back then. But now it is affecting how we show up in our lives and relationships. Because when you don't know how to express your emotions, they don't just disappear into thin air or something. They show up in other ways. They show up as things like frustration, as distance, as overthinking, as shutting down when things get quite intense. So sometimes it's not that you don't feel, it is that you don't know how to communicate what you feel. And that can be incredibly isolating. So let's talk about something important, especially when it comes to men. For example, a lot of men struggle with expressing emotions, not because they don't have them, but because they were or they have been conditioned to suppress them. From a young age, many boys are taught that showing your emotion, for example, is a sign of weakness. Why should a man cry? Crying? Come on, man, man up. This is for women or something like that. Talking about feelings, that's not what men do. Vulnerability issues with men, keep that for yourself, man. It doesn't happen with men. So what happens with this kind of situation? With men, they grow up into men who feel everything but express little to nothing of their emotions. So instead of sadness, it comes out as anger. Instead of vulnerability, it comes out as silence. So instead of asking for help, it comes as isolation. And the truth is that kind of emotional suppression doesn't make someone strong. It actually makes things heavier over time. But this isn't just about men. It is about all of us. Because regardless of gender, many people were raised in environments where emotional expression wasn't safe. Maybe your feelings were dismissed. Maybe you were misunderstood. Maybe, or just, maybe, you had to be strong for everyone else. So now, even when you want to open up right now, something inside you holds back. And that's where emotional awareness comes in. The first step isn't suddenly becoming expressive overnight. It is simply learning to notice that what's happening inside of you is something that is a big problem. So instead of saying, I'm fine, pause for a second and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? What is going on inside of me right now? Is it stress from work or from the things of life, basically? Is it disappointment? Is it fear? Is it something deeper you haven't fully processed yet? Because you can't express what you don't understand. And understanding your emotions takes time. It does. Even if it's your own emotions, it really does take time. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of work. It takes a lot of honesty with yourself. Another important step is realizing that expressing emotions doesn't mean losing control. A lot of people avoid opening up because they are afraid of being judged, misunderstood, or even overwhelmed by their own emotions. But expressing emotions isn't about dumping everything all at once. It can be as simple as saying, I've been feeling off lately. I don't fully understand it yet, but something's just been bothering me quite lately. That situation actually affected me more than I expected. That was so hard on me, and I didn't think it was going to be that tough with me. You know what? That's small steps. Because the goal isn't perfection yet. Actually, it's never about perfection. It is progress. And let's be real for a second. Learning to express emotions as an adult can feel awkward at first. It might feel unnatural. It might not have the right words. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay. You're learning something you never thought. You can be fast learning things emotionally. I mean, you can be fast learning things in general life experiences, but emotional stuff, it is really grounded and patience. And that deserves patience, not pressure. It is also important to understand that not everyone will respond the way you hope, and that can be discouraging. But that doesn't mean you should shut down again. It just means you're still learning who is safe to open up to and how to do it in a way that feels right for you. Because at the end of the day, being able to express your emotions isn't a weakness. It's actually one of the strongest things you can do as an adult. It allows you to build deeper relationships. It helps you understand yourself even much better. Or it actually gives you a healthier way to deal with what you're going on with or going through. And maybe most importantly, it reminds you that you don't have to carry everything alone or by yourself. So if you've been struggling to express your emotions, don't be too hard on yourself. There's a reason for it. And there's always also a way forward with it. It starts with awareness. Then it grows to patience practice. And it gets easier with time. It doesn't have to get easier in a nick of a time, just with time. So maybe the real reason is, what are you feeling right now? And what will it look to finally let yourself express it? So now that we understand why it's so hard to express emotions, the next question is, how do you actually start? Because awareness is powerful, but without action, nothing really changes. And the truth is, learning to express your emotions isn't something that happens overnight. I've said that before. But it is a process. There are simple practical steps you can start taking right now. The first step is learning to identify what you feel. Identifying what you feel. A lot of people say, I'm fine, or I'm stressed. But that's very surface level. Try to go deeper. Instead of just saying, I feel bad, ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling? Is it frustration, disappointment? Is it anxiety? Or is it hurt? Sometimes you might feel multiple emotions at once, and that's okay. If you're not used to this, it might feel confusing at first, but the more you check in with yourself, the clearer it becomes. The second step is to pause before you react. When emotions hit, especially the stronger ones, your instinct might be to shut down, lash out, and avoid the situation completely. But try this. I want you to pause. Take a moment. Give yourself a moment. Just take a breath. That space between what you feel and how you respond, that's where the emotional intelligence starts to grow. The third step I would say for sure is start small when expressing yourself. You don't have to suddenly feel or open up quickly or say everything all at once. The most important thing when dealing with emotional stuff is to start simple. Say things like, I didn't like how that made me feel. I've been feeling a little bit off lately. That situation bothered me more than I expected. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but that part of the process, that's the part of the process. The first step is to write it down. And if you can't say it out loud, not everyone finds it easy to talk immediately, and that's okay. That's super okay. Journaling can actually help you understand your emotions without pressure. You can be completely honest on paper in a way that might feel difficult in a conversation. Sometimes writing is the first step to eventually actually speaking it out loud. So the first step is to choose when dealing with this is actually to choose the safe people to open up to. What are the kind of people that you talk to and express your emotions? You just don't have to talk to everyone that you meet all the times. Why? It is because not everyone will understand you and not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability. So start with someone you can trust. Someone who listens without judgment. Not all your friends can be people that can be trusted with your emotional vulnerability. And if you don't have that kind of person right now, even expressing yourself in small ways like voice notes to yourself can actually still help and go further more in depth with the same thing. The sixth step actually which is actually important in this, is challenge the belief that emotions are weakness. Challenge that belief. Emotions are not weaknesses. This is something a lot of people, especially men, have been taught for years. But the truth is, suppressing emotions doesn't make you strong. It just delays what you feel. Real strength is about being able to face your emotions, understand them, and express them in a healthy way. The seventh step is to be patient with yourself. You are unlearning years of habits. You are breaking patterns that once protected you before. Of course, it won't feel natural immediately. There will be moments where you go back to shutting down, probably moments where you don't know what to say. That doesn't mean you fail or you're actually in a way of failure or something like that. It just means you're still learning. And finally, the last step is this: practice consistency. Emotional expression is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you check in with yourself, the more you speak up, the more you allow yourself to feel, and the easier it becomes over time. Look, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the perfect person that you want to be. You just have to keep showing up for yourself, because at the end of the day, your emotions are not your enemy. They are signals. They are messages. They are part of you that deserves to be understood and not to be ignored. So instead of asking, how do I stop feeling this way? How do I stop feeling this way, for example? maybe start asking, what is this feeling trying to tell me? That shift alone can change everything. And maybe the real goal isn't to express your emotions perfectly. It is to finally stop running from them. And that is actually what we are putting in the table today. If you really enjoyed this podcast today, I really hope that you may be able to subscribe to this channel. You can go into my account, my podcast account, my Apple podcast that is linked in this page at Triage Table Podcast. And if you love this podcast, you can actually share it to your friends, with people that you may feel that they really need to listen to this. Until next time again, it will be really nice to see you right here. Please leave a comment. Let me know if this touched some part of your life and if this is the area that you have actually been struggling with. But I'm going to see you in the next video. Have a good time and take care of yourself.